How's it going, beautiful people? This is Jose Trujillo and...
Lisa Trujillo!
She's helping me, well, no, she's not helping me. She's doing some work.
I'm getting an order ready really quick for pickup.
She'll be here in a little bit, guys. But she's going to be here in spirit and voice. So today is Thursday Cafecito. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Cole, how's it going? Megan, how's it going? Lamfata. Good to see you guys. We're doing Cafecito Thursday. My wife and I get together with our favorite beverage. Bam! Cafecito. Some coffee. And we talk about being in a relationship together. We talk about working, work, and living together. The things that motivate us. The things that how do we keep our spark, right? Also, as a partnership, how do we keep our spark? If you are not questioning, if you're not questioning, but if you're not thinking about, okay, how do we keep this burning, right? Because we work together, but we're also married. So you may not be married to someone, right? Yeah, it's a thing that people tend to say, oh, that's a bad one. Don't work with your spouse or blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you guys that is not true. That's a lie.
I love working
with you. I love working with you too. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge working by yourself. It's a challenge working with someone else. Like, people talk about, like, well, it's a bigger challenge. I don't think it's a bigger challenge. I think challenges just show up, and then you just show up, and you're like, okay, let's take care of this. And, like a gunslinger in the Wild West. You show up as the problem shows up, or as the challenge shows up, then you go above it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it's done. So we're going to talk about today. First of all, my wife didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this. Here's one of my biggest pet peeves, okay? People, when you buy something, for example, we're waiting for a bed, right?
Yes.
We're waiting for a bed. We moved to our new apartment, and because we wanted to utilize the whole house as a studio only, and
I was tired of smelling walnut oil when I sleep.
Yeah, she started smelling walnut oil around the house, and so we just decided to turn the whole house into the art studio, and we're expanding other working areas that we're adding additions and whatnot. So we're like, dude, let's get a bed, right? Well, she's the one, because I never think about stuff like that. You women out there, you women are good. You guys think about everything.
Well, my baby's got to rest comfortably.
Yeah, rest comfortably. So she bought a bed, and it's like it took like a month.
No, FedEx lost it.
Oh, FedEx lost it.
I ordered it online.
Okay. Tell them. You tell them.
I ordered it online. Well, first it was because it's a bed. It was gonna take a long time to ship, and apparently there was some storm in Memphis that delayed ship out. Well, in Memphis is where the bed got lost.
Yeah.
And so I was patient, and I called FedEx a couple times, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna look for it. It's the holiday, blah, blah, blah." So then finally one day FedEx was like, whoa, it's not moving. We think it might be lost. You need to handle it with the company you bought it from. This is one of my favorite shops, so I don't want to put them on blast.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the store itself. Like, that doesn't represent the store.
Right. Well,
or one incident doesn't represent the store.
So, yeah. So I called Target, my favorite place in the world. And they were awesome. They were really amazing. And they were like, we'll take care of it. We'll issue you a new one, blah, 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 blah. So they issued a new one, but now, like, the ship out is delayed because of storms again.
Oh, storms. Okay, so it's something real.
So now they're going to be delayed. Now now we will be without a bed because they just sent an update that the bed's not supposed to get here until February 13th, which means we would be without. So the original bed was supposed to arrive December 22nd.
Okay. Are you guys listening to that? Because I don't know if you guys are. And then what else?
Well, then why are you making me tell the story?
No, go ahead.
The original was supposed to arrive December 22nd, and it was on time.
You got to make the story short, dude.
Okay. So I got an update. It's not coming till February 13th.
February 13th. So they took a long ass time to get your bed.
Well, now we're saying we're gonna cancel because it's just too long.
It's too long. It's too late. I didn't want to wait 2 months to get a bed. I like things now.
Well,
I get desperate. I need things now.
Well, that's not really the case, but I think if it's been delayed so many times, like, is it really ever gonna get here? Is my concern.
Yeah. Heartist 10 says, I really need a teacher to take a look at my work and give me direction. Can you please take a look at my profile, sir, please? Oh, absolutely. I'm not much of a teacher, but I'll take a look at the profile for sure. New lid style, sleep on the floor. Yeah, sleep on the floor. The good thing is that we got the, Estebonique says sleep on the floor. We got the mattresses. Because we bought that separate, but the bed is like, come on, So you're saying it took long. It did. So, which brings me to the topic of today, right? The topic of today, look, in this case, it wasn't procrastination. I don't think it was procrastination on Target, because Target is, it's an entity, right? Everything's an entity, but all of these people, right? It had to be one dumb F somewhere in there in shipping or packaging or something that was like, I'll do it tomorrow. No?
Yeah,
That's life. It has to be. It comes down to one person. It always comes down to one person.
FedEx wasn't clear until I asked to speak with a supervisor as to what could potentially be going on.
Yeah.
So, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one. Send a DM to know where to find the artist. Totally. And look, it's really, I believe that no matter how businesses get, how small or large, customer service and everything. It's important, but it's extremely important. But I think it comes down to one person. Everything always comes down to one person, and someone has to catch the ball. And I believe that procrastination is like a plague that has kind of messed up with human beings. And I seriously believe that it was one person. I don't think it was like the whole company or this or that, like it came down to someone saying, you know what, I ain't taking care of that right now. I got too much on my table. Push it, right? And that one person ensured that I didn't have a bed. And I had a unhappy wife without a bed. If I could find out, kick him in the ass. So how do you deal with these kind of things, right? You have to ship things out. You have to prepare things, and you're working in a partnership, right? You're working in a partnership, and many times what happens is that if you're not careful, if you don't raise your responsibility level, you're gonna wanna shove the responsibility to someone else, right? You're gonna procrastinate on it, and you're gonna be like, you know what, honey, I thought you were gonna do it. If you're working with someone, a friend or whatever. You're like, I thought you were going to do it. No, I thought you were going to do it. Oh my God. Oh. And that's always a problem when you're working with someone, when you're working with more than multiple people, right? That's why I say it always comes down to one person. Because someone has to catch the hot potato.
Well, and I think, too, that you have to communicate sometimes with clients when there's delays and be honest. For example, I have people that will ask to combine their orders. Right? So they're asking me to hold to that. They're telling me you're going to package more items than just one.
Right.
So when they decide that they're ready to pay, I have orders that are set to ship out at that time too.
Right.
So they can't, I have to communicate to them. I can't jump you ahead because you've asked me to hold. There's still a realistic handling time that has to occur, so that it doesn't throw all the other orders behind, right?
Which is part of the communication.
I think that there's logistics, and I'm sure that all these companies have worked out logistics and ship out times and all that good stuff. But you too have to be realistic about your ship out times and communicating with your clients when they purchase from me, right?
Totally. I think you said the key thing right there is communication. Because that's what happens when things are not put on the table. Then we start thinking, well, for example, those of you who are married, I thought you were going to do the cooking today. No, I thought you were. Or those of you who are married to spouses that don't like cooking. I thought you were going to go get some food. Did you see me winking at them?
I don't like cooking.
I don't like cooking. You shouldn't cook. I'll back you up there. Yeah, I thought you were going to go get the takeout or this or that or whatever, And so it's the ball just passed, right? Back and forth. It's like playing catch, but nobody wants to catch. It's a weird catch game. Does that make any sense? I think so, huh? She's just ignoring me at this point.
No, I'm not. I'm listening to
But yeah, look, when you work in a partnership, I'm going to start getting a little bit serious because it's time to get serious now. I'm going to put my serious face on. Come on. When you're working with in a partnership, it doesn't matter whose fault, whose responsibility was it. None of it matters. None of it matters. What matters is that things get done. And sometimes it sounds like, for example, when I say stuff like this, it sounds to me like you're trying to wash off a responsibility. No, what I'm trying to say is that you should act in a way that you feel responsible for everything. For everything. And I think that like my worst days, when I talk to you about my worst days, what have they been? It's because I haven't been responsible. You recall that? Mm-hmm. My worst days is because I've put something off, or I've had her, my wife, right, carry more load, right, all this workload and she's already busy, and she's maybe already having a lot on her plate. And then just keeps piling up. It keeps piling up, all this stuff that we have to do. And at the end of the day, I feel like, oh man, like, why am I having a bad day? Or why am I having a hard day? Or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I find out, you know what? After I get my consciousness back, after I get in place, I realized, I wasn't being responsible enough. And I do believe that it comes down to one person always. Always comes down to one person. Because sometimes not everybody's at the same level, right? Some people may be in a funk or whatever, and someone has to rise. Someone has to rise to the occasion. And I think that I've been going back to the bed thing. I think someone just, decided that they were going to lose it for whatever reason, I don't think it was that clear, like, we're going to lose the bed. But I think it got to a point where it just got pushed out of the responsibility zone.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, that's what I think anyways. It's tricky working with a partnership. It's tricky because the only reason I'm saying it's tricky is because you got to remove all that stuff about how we grew up and what we were told about working with someone else. Because it's not just with your spouse. This could be a friend. This could be a colleague. This could be an employee, right? Maybe you got yourself a couple employees or employee or whatever, and you're afraid of blurring that line because maybe they're buddies. You guys are buddies, and you're afraid of blurring that line, and you don't want to impose responsibility. Like, I know many times she's afraid of imposing responsibility on me because because there's this marriage thing, right? And she might be like, you know what? Last time I told him to do something, he got upset with me. So, right. So when it comes to being in a business,
hey guys,
how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Right? How do you deal with that when it comes to doing a business?
Mm-hmm.
How do you remind someone? What was that about?
Nothing. I'm finally sitting here.
Look, they finally started liking me. Because when I was here, I was like,
no, they love you all the time.
So anyways,
it's a horrible angle.
How do you...
But we're going to deal.
Oh. Yeah, whatever.
It's because you got the beard.
Oh, is that why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to do? You want to go like that?
I can just just gonna hide over here.
Look, there's that.
Today's my bad day.
No, don't
No
call
makeup.
it a bad day.
Ah.
Like, you're like, ah.
Yeah.
See what's up?
See, Grandma, she knows. She's probably. I didn't put makeup on today. I didn't put my presentable face on today, guys. But I'm here. Go ahead, go.
What? Anyways, so yeah, when you're in a partnership, this is what happens, right? We play tit for tat. It's like, oh, I thought you were doing it. No, I thought you were doing it. And what I'm trying to tell you guys, look, whoever is in charge, right? Because someone has to be in charge. You can't. Two people can't be in charge. It has to be one. Who's in charge here?
You are.
Bam. Only one person needs to be in charge. And then that person needs to have the cojones enough to realize on a daily basis that you're in charge. And all the responsibility is on you, right? It's on you. And I have to remind myself, like, I can't make her responsible. Like, what about splitting responsibilities? I can't do that. Like, I'm so stupid like this. And I don't think it's stupid. I just, just for shits and giggles. Like, if something bad happens to me, I don't think about who did it or why they did it or how. I think about, oh, shit, man, this was my fault. How could have I prevented this? How can I prevent this for next time? Right? Like, I always make it my fault. And I think that it's something that I started learning how to do. I wasn't always like this. I was always, like, if I fell, I was like, who tripped me? You know?
I mean, the beginning of our relationship was a lot of that was...
Yeah, you did something to me.
Exactly.
You hurt my feelings.
Well, and not only that, but I think, thank you, Grandma. I appreciate it. A lot of it comes to, we have these defined roles that we're told we're supposed to play. And when we're working together, and so we're working together and we're married, those roles kind of blur. And then we still have to carry home responsibility, parenting responsibility, marriage responsibility, along with our business, right? Yeah. And so I think that you're always trying to find where you fit and like what you do. I think what you and I have done such a great job that I think has helped us excel is that we've allowed each other to fail when we have and not been like super harsh on each other most of the time. Sometimes it's not fun. But we've also allowed each other, we've also been able to recognize strengths and weaknesses. And I think we pick up where the other one isn't comfortable, right?
Sevan says the boss owns every mistake, especially even when they're someone else's. Yeah.
I know. Absolutely. That's why I say he's the boss.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Bam. I don't mind it because it's part of my growing. It's part of my growing. Like if I get, whatever. If I get like I don't know, an accident or something that didn't ship on time or whatever, I'm always looking to see what I could have done different. Not thinking about the past, but what's that going to teach me for the future. I'm constantly auditing myself, auditing my behavior, and it's hard. It's hard because in the very beginning it was very difficult because I needed to blame someone else. It had to be someone else's blame.
Absolutely,
it couldn't be me because God forbid it's me. I'll come up with the best example of why it's not me, right? And it got to a point where that was hurting me. That was hurting everything. That was hurting everything about me. That was hurting my family, my spiritual. It changes your spirituality too. I think it's very spiritual. I don't think it's like, I'm not talking about religion or anything like that. Just spiritual. It changes the way that you feel about yourself. And granted, I get those days when I'm like, oh, I wish it wasn't my problem, right? I get those days, but I have to snap out of it really quick because I know where that leads.
I've grown more in our marriage through our business.
It's
I told you
challenging.
this. I told you this.
It's challenging yourself.
I told you this. Or people I think innately sometimes we as humans will create problems, right? So
she's holding my hand.
I know. So sometimes you hear like other people's drama, and you're like, oh. And I was telling you last time that I was really grateful because our drama is work-based drama.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you didn't order boxes. Like,
instead
you
of like
delayed my work now. You made my work uncomfortable.
Instead of
I hate you right now.
You were at the bar.
Yeah.
She's like, what happened to the boxes?
Why didn't you order my 17 by 19 size boxes? I'm having to cut cardboard to create boxes.
Now, part of the problem also because as we continue.
But I also think too, we don't just argue about boxes, but I think because we're being forced to grow in responsibility because we want more from ourselves and our business, that we end up focusing on ourselves instead of the other person.
Right.
Because now you're being forced to
look at your behavior
so that you can perform better. And I think that that's really important.
Work, my mom used to say that work will like in heavy areas of work, right? When you in work challenge, right? In work life challenge, you show who you are, right? When you know how people are like, oh, in very difficult situations or this or that. She's like, no, in the day to day. I remember mom telling me, in the day to day, in your work, you show who you are because it shows your responsibility
Absolutely.
level. It shows, oh, I'll leave that for tomorrow. I'll leave that later, or I won't do it right, or I won't order what I need to order. You know what I mean? Like being prepared and because working is, I see it like farming. I never farmed, but I'm sure something is I'm doing comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a vague idea, but you have to like work the soil. You know, you have to plant the seed. You have to wait, but while you're waiting, you have to be doing something else. You know, you can't just sit there and wait.
Right.
For the rain to come and on and on and on. Or
like
for the crops to grow.
There's multiple things that need to happen.
Although there's cycles,
juggling, right?
exactly. Although there's cycles, there's multiple things you have to be doing while you're waiting for the next cycle.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I see work that, whether you own a business or not, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I feel like there's cycles. How do you do anything is, what is it?
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been paying attention a lot about that because, one of my mentors said, before he hires someone, he goes and checks the car.
To make sure that it's clean.
Yeah, he's like, I want to see that you're responsible.
Their area, their surroundings.
Yeah. And then he'll drop in people's homes.
Yeah.
Like out of the blue. He'll drop on people's homes.
Which is why I'm so sad about the bed, because I feel like I haven't been able to break out the comforter.
Yeah.
It's just like a messy mattress on the floor. Although I do have clean sheets and all that on there.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's an expression. And I think too, as we've, because we owned a business before. So we have been working together for like 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. And, no, longer.
Longer.
Because we're on year 6 now with
year 10.
Which was 10 years. We've been working together. And I feel like...
By the way, guys, grow.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned so many lessons. We've learned so much about ourselves. And I think that that's the one thing I'm grateful for is that I have a partner that he makes himself his focus as he should, but he doesn't make... Self-centered. He doesn't make himself the focus of us. Like our focus, and we've mutually agreed, is our own personal growth.
Right.
And so I think we allow each other space to figure it out. And sometimes we'll have bad days. Like for example, earlier today, you're like, oh, like I'm having a really hard time today.
Yeah.
And that's when I say like our marital drama isn't marital drama. It's like performance. Like, oh, like yesterday I had a really hard day getting going. And you were like, dude, you're making the workspace difficult because I'm already in that mindset and you're making it a difficult mindset. Because you could sense that I just was like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Right?
Which is why I offer it, look, we need to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went to bed super early because I think it was a wild 3 weeks because I had been sick, I'd been working and all this stuff, right?
Right.
And I think you were like, you're making it. But I think too, it's important to say it's not, that you're not trying to put blame on me, but I was making the work environment difficult because I was finding reasons to be like, oh, blah, 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 to not be engaged.
Yeah, but at the same time, I wasn't. See, it's responsibility. Had I been more responsible, I would have been like,
dude, go home.
Let me work.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to finish this. But instead I gave in and I was like, okay, well, since I use you as a scapegoat. Right? I use your feeling whatever as a scapegoat to be like, okay, well, maybe I need to go home now. And
you guys are just hearing us process today.
Totally.
Processing feelings.
Totally.
Well, not really feelings, but like
No, it's not feelings.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with feelings. Feelings are overrated, guys. Get them out the window. Throw them out the window. Check them out.
Get rid of them.
But yeah, you know, I mean, I feel like it has to do with responsibility. Like the whole thing has to do with responsibility. And when I find myself, like today that I told you, man, I'm feeling a little, you know, gotta get the Starbucks. Yeah. And feelings. When I'm feeling a little bit like, oh man, I don't know, like, because it has to do with self-esteem.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
It's belief. It has
belief
to do with
in yourself.
It has to do with self-esteem. So if I feel like, oh man, I don't know, something's going on. I already know. Before I had no idea what was it, right? I used to think I don't have my swing, right? That's what I used to say, or I don't feel it. Very first, it was like, I don't feel inspired. And then I learned, oh, okay, just get working. But then after I got working, I realized, man, I still don't feel like my swing. There's days that I don't feel my swing, and I'm still working.
Yeah.
Right? I'm still working, and I feel like I'm putting in the time and whatnot. And then I started realizing, you know what? It's your belief, right?
Yeah.
You haven't primed correctly, right? You haven't worked on yourself correctly. And I think it's a mixture. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's a mixture of things. So, for example, one of the things that I do is I write my goals down as soon as I wake up, and I prime myself, right?
Right.
I started priming myself to where I'm going, right? Where is it that I'm going? But at the same time, I realize that if I'm not moving fast, right? If I'm not moving with speed, especially today's so you have to move with such speed to get anything done. You won't get shit done unless you move with speed. I don't believe that you get anything done nowadays unless you move with speed.
Well, and I also think too that people's expectation is more rapid too, because everything is so accessible quickly. Right. And so our expectation, like me with the bed, like maybe 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, this is normal. We wait 2 months for a bed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where now the quick turnaround has us all experiencing that.
Yeah. And then I've also learned, like, for example, if someone says, oh, I want to do a commission, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, let me get to that. Yeah, if you
wait it out, write it out.
If you waited even a whole day, you are probably killing the process already. Like, I'm learning still because I have a hard time still with that. Mm-hmm. I know I do. But I'm learning to, as soon as I think of something, I need to jump on it. Because if I don't jump on it, when you put time in the equation, you start killing it.
Yeah.
It's like lighting a match. Mm-hmm. Like to a bomb.
Well, and I find that when I move faster, because I'm so productive, right. I feel like accomplished.
Well, you're because it comes back to belief. Yeah. Your responsibility level goes up because you're moving quick, and you're getting. It's not just about doing busy work. It's about getting stuff done. Yeah. Stuff that is pressing you. For example, I don't know. In our case, right? I need to get a commission done. I need to get this done. I need to order supplies. Mm-hmm. And if I push it for the next day, now I have to get supplies, blah 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 blah, and whatever shows up the next day. Right. And if I push some of that for the next day. You know what I mean? So now I have all these things piled up, and now I get overwhelmed, right? Because what could have been done, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's about squeezing that time. Like one of the things that I'm learning is do as much as you can in 15-minute segments, 10-minute segments. Mm-hmm. And I know I turned this thing into a whole other, but I think it goes together. I think it's the same. It's about lifting that responsibility level, you know? So you feel like you have self-esteem. Yeah. When you don't get stuff done, you don't have self-esteem. And then that's when we start playing I thought you were going to do it. No, you know, you start
bouncing it off.
Bouncing off the responsibility to your partner. And it doesn't help anyone. What it does is starts backing you out. Right. You know, more and more and more. Right. And I mean, again, one of the things that I've learned is just as soon as I think of something, and, you know, like I told you, I have a hard time with it, you know, because it's like, I want to process. There's some days that I just want to process it, and I want to be like, oh, okay, well, how do I do this? And it's a killer. It's a killer, you know. As soon as you think of something, boom, I needed to talk to that client. Oh, yeah, what am I going to say? Like, F that, you know, like really, like, fuck that. Just pick up the phone and call that client. And get the sale or don't get the sale. Yeah. But pick it up, you know, right there. Mm-hmm. You add time to it, you're shooting yourself on the foot really bad.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I think you're right.
I took it to the moon this time.
Yeah,
huh?
you did.
I love it. I love taking it to the moon.
Hi,
Yes.
Raspari. So now we're kind of coming to the end because we have a client coming to pick up their order.
Okay.
So we got to say goodbye a little bit earlier than normal.
It's time to say goodbye. Imagination land.
So thank you guys for joining us today for Cafecito Thursday.
Clink.
Cheers. And we will see you guys, I will see you guys next Thursday. He's going to see you guys tomorrow at noon for Friday Takeaway.
I hope you guys see me all the time. I'm working on that. I'm working on you guys seeing me all the time, every time. When you go to sleep, you think about me. When you wake up, you're like, oh, I'm thinking about that guy.
I think I need to buy
that good-looking artist.
Painting.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that's what I hope. I hope I get to ship you guys a painting one day.
Yeah. I'm hoping for that too.
Fingers crossed.
One of those big ass paintings. Big one.
But thank you guys for taking the time to see us today. We hope you have a kick-ass Thursday. And again, Jose will be back at noon tomorrow with Takeaway Friday.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Adios.
Adios.
May the force be with you. And what is this?
Oh, that's Hunger Games. Bye, guys.